another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to After Hours. And tonight, I've scrounged up a few things that have been coming out about Fauci and the other stuff that they're looking into surrounding Fauci. And I thought that would be a good show for tonight since my person I had picked said nothing. I haven't heard anything from them. So they haven't, let me know so that I could have them on the show as a guest again. Because I sure like having guests and then they share information about, like they're trying to fund a comic book or they're writing a screenplay or they're writing a book or they're doing stuff in their communities, things like that. I really do like to have that. But when I get no shows, I have to come up with something. So that's what I did. I just went through and pulled out a bunch of things about the stuff surrounding Fauci and other things that are coming out surrounding that type of thing. And I thought I would open with this funny video that I saw that I have up on screen already that just cracked me up because I've heard a lot of people make these comments and I just wanted to share that with you. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's already here. I see Jackie Blue, she's one of my wrenches and she tries to stop in and say good luck almost every one of my shows. And she's just a sweetheart. But she has to work nights, so it's a damper on her. So it's, but I like her anyways. I'm thankful for her. And then let's see, she said good luck. And then baby girl came in and said hello to everybody. Thank you, baby girl. I appreciate you too. And then I see Lloyd Christmas. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. I really, really appreciate it. Hungar. Thank you very much. How sweet of you. And guess what? I just made a few things for this. And for just this occasion, say thank you for this wonderful super chat. So here we go.
Thank you. Tell us all the dark Great.
Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you very, very much. And hello. I hope you're doing well tonight. I don't get to talk to you that much anymore. It seems like everybody's so busy and the times are all off. And trying to get back to a regular schedule again to where, I do a show, each of these different nights, and then I'm on other people's shows or getting to go and stop in and say hi to everybody. But yeah, I saw James the other night. I hung out with him for a little bit in his chat. I've tried to stop in as much as I can when I see that it goes live, but I don't know if it's like anybody else's. I don't seem to get very many notifications anymore. Is that a algorithm thing? I mean, I don't understand why that happens, because I've even a couple times not even got my notification to go live with Bruce for the games. So I don't know. I just think it's weird. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. Something to do with YouTube. But thank you very much, Ungar. I really, really appreciate you and your brother. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I wish I'm going to have to learn how to go to your channel, do what Bruce does, show all your cool shirts. But yeah, he loves your shirts, and I think they're funny as heck. I mean, especially that one with the big afro from your high school picture. It's great. But yeah, you're awesome. Thank you so much. But I want to share this one little video because it is so funny. And so many people say that, they feel the same way. So let me go over here and start it. Here we go. We'll make sure it's turned up. Okay, here we go.
I was always curious about these people. Hey, buddy. Yeah, do you wear rubber when you beat off? Do you wear a condom when you masturbate? No. Well, you're driving around alone wearing a mask. I figure some kind of fucking weirdo.
Fuck you. That's so sad. But the thing is, don't do this. I don't recommend anyone do this to anyone, because that person could get upset enough to try to shoot at you or get in an altercation. So it's never a good thing to, insult people in public and stuff. That's really, really, really not a good thing. But I know I've heard so many people say, why are they walking their dog wearing a mask out, with no one else around, or wearing it in a car while they're driving by themselves? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. I never saw anybody do these things except in a hospital, or someone who, was at home and they had surgery and they have to be real careful about getting, not germs, but basically dust and other things in their lungs, because masks don't stop germs. You have to wear a full head mask that covers your eyes and your nose, and it has to have, a breather apparatus on it for it to not really let stuff like that in. Because if it just doesn't protect you. But you can read the box and find that out for yourself. But I had to share that. I just thought it was really funny when it came across my timeline. This Johnny Be Good guy, he always has some good stuff. It was really funny, so I had to share it. But I'll turn that one off, and then I'll bring up the next one. But yeah, everyone needs a good laugh, and not to laugh at other people's expense. But it really is hard to understand sometimes. It's really hard to understand when you it doesn't make sense. It's no common sense there for some reason. I was going to ask everyone, do you guys like this cosmic background, or do you like my beautiful, calm clouds better? Because if you like the clouds, I can go back to that. I was just trying to try some other new stuff, and I think it's kind of cool. But if you stare at it long enough, it's like you go into a coma. So don't stare at it forever. But let me pull up this next thing, and then I'll pull up another chat. But I just really wanted to share that because I thought it was really funny. Before I, let's see, is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. But before I talk about it, I want to see what these people are saying over here real quick. Let's see, right here. possibly got a moment to shine through my artwork. I have a friend who's a model, and they said I can paint them. Awesome. That would be really good for you. Just make sure that you take some photos, of what you're going to have in the picture, not just to them sitting in the room or whatever, because a lot of people say they were trying to sketch just to get the sketch right, and the person had to leave or got a phone call and some other things like that. So if you have photos, then you have that to go by while you're working on your art and not have to worry about them being there. But it is good, from what I was told, not so much for painters, but for, people who use, charcoal pencil and things like that, that it's really nice when they have a real person and they can get close up to get details and stuff, which you can't do, if they're not there. You're trying to use your imagination. But a couple good photographs where you can zoom in and zoom out for shadowing and whatever, it would be nice. Why do I sound better? Do I sound better? I hope I sound okay. Yeah, I figured out a couple of things, but it was I really think it's StreamYard, not so much Discord. When I go to StreamYard on Bruce's thing, I seem to always have trouble going back to Discord, and it messes up my mic or something. It switches stuff around or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I only have it with Bruce. I don't have it with anybody else. So I know that sounds funny, but yeah, it's weird. So, but I really appreciate you guys. But you can hear me, right? You can hear me all right? I got my mic on. Do I need to turn it up? Just waiting to hear if anybody's going to say anything. I guess you can hear me, so that's good. All right, let's see. This next thing I wanted to bring up is I thought was really interesting because of what he's going to talk about. A while back, I did a couple shows with some of my friends that I met on X, and they were doing studies of people's blood, their own blood, and their friends, and testing different vitamins and other things to see if it changed their blood. And some of them found out about these little weird fibrous clot things and had them taken out while they were alive. But then I saw some videos that came out showing autopsies and them finding weird forms of something, of clots that weren't blood. There were other fibrous, rubbery things that almost looked like, tendons or something to me. But, I'm not a doctor or anything. But I just wanted to share this one video that this gentleman made and posted it. And I will share the link for it so anyone wants to see it can. But let me make it bigger here and make sure it's turned up. But watch this.
Yeah, this is about these unusual white fibrous clots, Mary, that embalmers with 20 or 30 years of experience have never seen before until the years of COVID and the COVID vaccines. Here's another one. This one's about 5.5 inches long, about 1/2 inch wide. And this actually came from the abdominal aorta. It's one of the largest blood vessels in the body. And so it's a very strange phenomenon that's happening. And actually, I've been in touch with a scientific team that believes they've nailed down what's actually happening to form these clots. We believe that our natural blood clotting protein fibrinogen, it normally converts into fibrin when a normal clot's formed. The fibrinogen in this case is being hijacked by both the spike protein, either from the virus or the vaccine, is becoming phosphorylated and it's binding with that fibrinogen. And also the phospholipid nanoparticles get involved as well that, carry the mRNA vaccine to the cells. So it's a very serious problem. Yeah, this is about these unusual white fibrous clots.
Yeah, very interesting, the whole thing about it. But I've heard a few different doctors, I guess doctors and morticians talking about it. There was a few morticians that came out early on, but they wouldn't let you videotape, them. They showed what they found, but they wouldn't get on camera and they wouldn't give their names because they were worried that they would be, attacked or burned out or something because of so many people that were mad because people were trying to come out and say that, hey, the COVID stuff might not be as smart to use. And, they were afraid about being, ousted. So everyone gets upset when you get doxxed for trying to do the right thing. And it's really sad. They call you whistleblower, whatever they want, but you have whistleblowers that come out all the time. Some people do it for political reasons. Other people do it for health reasons. Someone else might do it because somebody's having an affair. It could be multiple things that why people do it, but it does happen. People do it. And it's sad, though. It's sad that people are actually afraid that, something really bad could happen to them if they tell anyone. And, I feel bad for these people when, they're in that situation, because it's really sad. I mean, but, we all have to do what we can to try to get the truth out, as much of it as we can. I mean, it's not as easy as a lot of people think. We have to just keep trying, because if you're on a platform that they don't like what you have to say, then they won't let anybody see it. If you're on another platform and they don't like you, they'll just change the algorithm on you. So nobody sees anything you post, or very, very few people. So they just push you down, and it's real easy. Just put a couple of X's and O's, or not X's and O's, but zeros and ones, and make a change in, what your platform looks like compared to the one next to you. And they might get tons of views, and you get nothing or 0 views. So it's really weird that, what certain things trigger certain people. It's like, oh, I can't stand what they're saying. So they get all their friends and they all report your post or your profile on Facebook or on X or on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever you're on, and you get ganged up on. It's not any different than getting ganged up on, on the college campus or at work or wherever you're at, when a bunch of people are all saying stuff and they don't even know you. They just do it because they don't like what you said or what you wore that day or something, some stupid reason. But bullies are bullies. Doesn't matter where they're at, I think. But I just wanted to share that because it's interesting. And I did share it in the chat. So, and I try to always remember to set it to where the chat is replays so that you can see it. So I always try to remember to do that. Sometimes I forget, but you can always go back and watch it. And I try to put it up there like this. And then you can write it down or whatever. But yeah, it's in there for you. But yeah, that was very, very interesting when I first started seeing those weird looking things, because it almost looked not real, like it was fake. But it isn't. Those are real doctors that have pulled those out of people. And where did they come from? And that's why we need to have people that are really looking into it to try to find out what caused it. Because if you had a clot that big in there, you're not getting blood where you need it. You know what I mean? So, and we need to know where it came from and why people have it. So if we can figure that out, that would be great. But we got to be able to trust people too, to do the right thing and not, brush it under the rug. But here was the next thing I had that I found. I thought was pretty interesting. So I'm going to read this. It says USDA silently approves Oh yeah. Okay. I played this a couple weeks ago when it first came out, but this is I want people to see this, because if you take your cat or dog to the vet, they might just, for the rabies vaccine, they might just give your dog this jab or your cat. And I'm going to play this video for you so that you can make sure you ask your vet to please tell you what brand they're giving your animal, and ask for something different. So here you go.
The USDA last year approved self-amplifying mRNA injections for our cats and our dogs for rabies and a few other things. It's possible if their dog or cats receive the Novavax NXT self-amplifying RNA particles, it's possible they are either shedding the self-amplifying RNA or the antigen products that the dogs or cats are now producing onto the owners, their bodily fluids. And so none of this was tested, by the way. They just authorized it anyways because they don't care. And they're widely available for online purchase. And so veterinarians across the country are currently injecting self-amplifying mRNA into our pets. This has to be stopped.
Has it started?
Awareness
Has that started
needs to be
yet?
raised.
Has that started?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I played this before, but I'm going to play it a couple times because I think it's important, because almost everybody I know, in every state has a pet, either a cat or a dog, and we love our animals. So what do we do with our animals that we love? We make sure they have their vaccines so they don't get rabies. If they get sick, we take them there to get antibiotics, to get them spayed or neutered, or if they have puppies, that stuff. And I think it's important that we know what they're giving our pets. Just like you care about what they eat, why wouldn't you care about what the vet is putting in your pet? You know what I mean? And I think it's important that we know about it. So make sure, I'm going to share that information for that actual video in the chat. So bookmark that, save it, and then look up that brand and make sure that you ask your vet, if you don't want your animal to get that, to give you a different one, a different brand, that you don't want that brand, that you saw it. And if you know the name, and they'll probably be shocked that you actually knew anything about it. But yeah, here it is. Let me get the name. I think it's called Novak or something. Here, I'm going to get this part right here. Copy that. And we'll put it in the chat. That's the name. It says it's in right here. NOBIVAC. NXT. This name is the name of the brand or whatever of the stuff that they're talking about. So if you want to give it to your pet, fine, but you should have the right to know what they're getting. It's not just a vaccine, or if it's different than the other one was, things like that. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'll take that down and bring up the next one. See, all this has to do with this type of information. So I thought you guys would want to know. But let's see. Yeah, here we go. But before I play this one, I want to read something, even though I played it at the beginning of the show for people to read themselves. I want to read this so that people know, that YouTube knows, so whatever channels this is on, Rumble and X or whatever. It says this content basically is provided for educational, commentary, and informational purposes only. I believe this constitutes a fair use of any copyrighted material as provided for in Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act. All rights to the original works remain with their respective owners. If you are the copyright holder and believe your material has been used improperly, please contact me to discuss removal or modification. And I don't have any problem. I've removed a few things because I played it and I forgot about the music. You could barely hear it, but it's in the background. So I've had the music taken out, which is fine. I have no problem with that. What we're discussing about the information is, to me, is what's the most important. But this is another thing that came across my timeline that I thought was pretty interesting. It's a special report. For the first time ever, the COVID jabs are called bioweapons in court. Now, this isn't in America, but it's in court now. So once it's in court, it will come to America, because I think it's in Europe somewhere. It says it's a Dutch court case, and it labels COVID-19 with the mRNA shots as military bioweapons. Dr. Francis Boyd's final testimony. So this gentleman here is going to be reading it. I think he's a judge or whatever, but it's also dubbed over, but you can see the captions because it's in another language. But it's still important. This is still important, and it will make a difference. So here we go. Let me play it for you. Make sure it's turned up.
I will start with the statement of Joseph Sansone. It is based on the sworn statement of the late Professor Dr. Francis Boyle, who has determined and concluded. Professor Boyle is the greatest authority in the field of bioweapons legislation. He is the author of it. So he knows what is legally meant by it. He knew, like no other, that the COVID-19 mRNA injection is a bioweapon. He has also made that loud and clear to the world, known, after which, despite being in good health, he passed away shortly after he had declared himself willing to give testimony under oath about this in court. The core of Professor Boyle's argument is that the COVID-19 mRNA injections contain derivatives of illegal military gene function research. As a result, the COVID-19 injections qualify, by definition, as a military biological weapon system. A bioweapon, in other words. This bioweapon consists of two integrated components: the pathogenic load and the delivery mechanism. It is beyond doubt that the pathogenic load is the product of illegal gene or function research. Boyle refers to this, to an article in the scientific journal Nature Medicine, of which I have included the link in this plea note. If you open that link, you will immediately read the warning that true scientists believe that an animal is the most likely source of the coronavirus. You will also immediately know that what is called the new normal, true scientists, are not scientists, but faith fanatics. These are the scientists behind whom the respondents hide. The article in Nature Medicine that Boyle reports on was published in 2015, and the title reads, translated, "A cluster of circulating coronaviruses in bats, similar to SARS, shows potential for human infection." I present to you what the summary of this research included in the article reveals. It states, based on these findings, we have synthetically created an infectious, fully SHC014 recombinant virus developed and demonstrated robust viral replication, both in vitro and in vivo. So it states, we researchers have created a SARS-like coronavirus with a spike protein optimized for human infection. I cannot provide a better example of illegal gain of function research. And who wrote that article from 2015? Among others, researchers affiliated with UNC Chapel Hill and the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Wuhan, yes, Wuhan. You know, where according to the official narrative, people suddenly dropped dead on the street when COVID-19 broke out because there was a bat mutated. The spike protein, the pathogenic payload of the bioweapon, is the result of this research. So it's not about a natural spike protein, but an illegally developed, synthetically made pathogen that has been optimized for human infection. The spike protein mRNA, with the instructions to human cells to produce this very pathogenic spike protein, is one of the two crucial building blocks of the COVID-19 bioweapon. Now, the delivery system, the NLPs, the nanolipid particles that encapsulate the mRNA payload and deliver it into the interior of the cells. The propaganda term for this is fat globules, as if we're talking about something as harmless as a stick of butter. What did Boyle declare about it? Boyle declared that it is actually about a nanotechnology enhanced delivery platform. This technology is, as Boyle declared, paid for, developed, financed, and conceived by the Pentagon and its research institute, DARPA. This technology platform, nanotechnology platform, was not an afterthought. Dr. Boyle points out that the virus itself was aerosolized and engineered with nanotechnology from the very beginning. This indicates a long-term program aimed at the application of advanced delivery systems, and this technology has been used in the COVID-19 injections. Boyle determined that the NLP delivery system in the injections is the result of a specific teacher-sponsored program for nanotechnological biological weapons. In the presentation by Sansone, you can read further about the legal implications of this. It is also argued that Gates and Bourla qualify as suspects of crimes against humanity as defined in the Rome Statute concerning the International Criminal Court.
Well, that was a lot. That says a lot, but it's coming out in their court. And the fact that they named DARPA and our Pentagon basically in it is intriguing. So we're going to hear more about this, I'm sure, because, and I'm sorry the volume was low. I didn't know for sure what I'm supposed to do, how to turn it up. So I just turned up my own speakers to maybe it made it a little bit louder. But that's kind of scary to think about it, that they are really getting into this now, but not just here, because we got to remember this was everywhere in the world, in every continent. Every country was infected with some people with COVID because of airplanes, trains, boats, all those ways of spreading the virus. And when you cough on people or people cough and stuff like that, it spreads. Just like I said, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a mask on over your mouth and nose, because it can get in your eyes. It gets on your hands and you rub your eye, and there's blood vessels in our eyes and in our sinuses and things like that. So it's just like what happened with AIDS. It spreads through human contact, and it's just like anything, any virus, or cold, it spreads that way. So, I was lucky because I wash my hands so much all the time anyways, because of my allergies. And if I touch a grocery cart, and someone else is pushing it with lotion or perfume or something on their hands, AIDS was different because you had to have a certain kind of contact unless you got a blood transfusion. Okay. A lot of people got it. Hemophiliacs were infected with AIDS because they got infected blood. So, but now you got people now donating their blood that had these certain vaccines, and now those people that's blood went into their body now have it. See, different things like that. So this spreads out in lots of different directions. So, I used to donate blood. I had given over 4 gallons of blood in my lifetime before COVID, because I used to do, I have a very high platelet count. They just loved my platelets, the Red Cross. I would go and they'd strap me down, and they had my blood going through a machine and straining it to take platelets out for people with hemophilia and things like that. But I stopped doing it after all this because I don't trust them anymore. I don't trust them. to stick me with a clean needle or one that's not infected with something. When I went to the hospital, the one time that I was sick with nausea, was so nauseous. And they kept thinking, everybody kept saying, you got COVID. I go, I don't have a fever. I'm just nauseous, and I didn't know what had happened. And I went to the emergency room after 4 days, and I was really, really bad dehydrated. And they were going to give me an IV. And I said, just give me something for this nausea, so I can drink and eat, so I can, keep food down. And they said, well, we got to test you for COVID. I said, that's fine, but you're not sticking anything up my nose. You're going to have to take my blood and test it. And I watched the nurses open everything. I was such a bitch about it, but I couldn't help it. I was so paranoid. The doctor wouldn't even come in the room. He stood in the hallway with his mask on and stuff in the hallway. And the nurses came in and they did it. And I waited, but they had an IV on me. So I was already getting, I don't know what it's called, something for real bad nausea. And I started feeling better really quickly. And I think the IV helped too, because I was getting fluids, because I could hardly eat anything because it was so nauseous. I couldn't keep anything down. And guess what it was? I figured it out after like 4 days. Once I was, not sick, I realized that I had some black ants that were coming in my back door, and they went up this couple steps into my kitchen and were going across the cabinet. I was like, oh, I got ants. So I got a can of Raid and I sprayed it all the way to the door and forgot about it, right? Well, then I was rushing around trying to clean, and I wanted to mop my wood floor by my back doors. And I started mopping with that little, Swiffer wipe thing. And then up the counter, I got my Clorox wipe, and I just started wiping it off the cabinet and the food away. And next thing I know, within an hour, I was so nauseous I could barely stand up, and I wasn't wearing gloves. And I am so allergic to so many things, and I was sick, but thank God I was healthy enough to withstand whatever I absorbed from the stuff. And it made me sick, man. Yeah, it was Raid. I'll never do that again, but I learned. But the thing is, I didn't have COVID. And then when they did test me, they tested my blood. I didn't even have, I've never had COVID. I've never caught it. A couple times when I went shopping, when it first started, I saw them out there with those, the hand sanitizer, and I thought that was great, because I think they should always have hand sanitizer for people who want to use it, and the wipes, so you can wipe your card off. That should have already been doing that, but the mask is useless. I mean, when they tried to make me put a mask on, I said, let me talk to the manager. When finally the manager came, and I said, can you do me a favor? And he said, yes. And I said, can you read on the side of the box and tell me what it says? He already knew, because I'm sure someone else had already told him that. And I said, does it say that it stops viruses? And he says, no, it doesn't. And I said, then why are you going to make me wear one? I'm not sick. I don't have a fever. And I'm not wearing a mask. So he goes, well, at Walmart, they said, well, you can order it online and have it and pick it up. And I just said, it's all right. I'll go somewhere else. And I did. I won't name the store I went to, but I went to another store, and they didn't make me wear a mask. So, oh well, they lost my business during that part of COVID. But, everybody has to do what you think is right. The thing is that this right here, this video that I just shared, is going to start something. So I shared that in the chat, and I would like it if you guys would take that and bookmark it and share it with other people and let them listen to it. And they don't have to just listen. They can read it, because it's got captions on it for this gentleman, because he's, they don't speak English every day like we do. Even in Canada, a lot of people prefer to speak French. They don't want to speak English. So, it's what for each person has to do what they feel they need to do. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to inform people and let them make the decision. It should always be your decision, what you do with your families. It shouldn't be someone else forcing you against your will to do something against your will. You know what I mean? So if you don't want to shop there, don't shop there. If you don't want to watch your show, don't watch it. It's that simple. And that you should have the right to do that. If you don't want to be there, don't stay there. Leave. And you should have the right to do that. They shouldn't be able to make you go somewhere you don't want to go. But I'm going to change that now. Let's go to the next thing I've got. yeah, these are all very interesting. I watched lots of videos today, just trying to see which ones for sure I wanted to play. But this one that's coming up is pretty interesting. I must pause it because it always starts before I want it to. But it says leaked audio shows Fauci talking about having every corporation require vaccinations and making it as hard as possible on the public, so they're forced to take the jab. Fauci said if you make it hard enough, people will abandon their beliefs. And this, they have the audio, and this is them asking them all these questions, our people in our Congress up on Capitol Hill. The thing is that if you don't share it and nobody shares it, how are we even going to know about what's going on? You know what I mean? I'm thankful that I live in America where I can talk about this stuff, because in some countries you can get arrested for posting something on Facebook, believe it or not. It's pretty bad. That somebody's fat or overweight, or they're going bald and they're ugly, or whatever it is that you said about somebody, they can arrest you for it. And we don't have that in America yet. And I hope we never get it, because we have freedom of speech. It's in our Constitution. And, I'm happy that we have that, and I want to respect that. I don't believe that you should, want death on other people and shout, death to America and stuff like that. Even though it's supposed to be, your right as an American to say those things. I wish people wouldn't. I wish that people had some couth about them, and cared about how they look to others, that kind of thing. But apparently some people don't really care. So, but we have to take the good with the bad. If you want to be able to say what you believe, we have to let other people have the same right. And that's the way it works. But I want to play this for you because I think it's pretty good. Make sure it's turned up. Here we go.
In an interview that you gave as part of an audiobook written by Michael Spector, that you believed an institutional should make it hard for people to live their lives so they'd feel pressured to get vaccinated. Could we run the audio clip on that, please?
You think can be done about it? I have to say that I don't see a big solution other than some sort of mandatory vaccination. I know federal officials don't like to use that term.
Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
Thank you. Are all objections to COVID vaccinations ideological bullshit, Dr. Fauci?
No, they're not, and
Thank
that's
you.
not what I was referring to.
Well, in reference to making it hard for people to get education, traveling, working, I'd say it very much was in context. And I take great offense to this. Miss Allison Williams testified before this committee about losing her job because she sought an exemption for ESPN's vaccine mandate, which came from recommendations from bureaucrats like yourself. She and her husband were actively working with a fertility expert, a physician, on how to get pregnant, and agreed with the premise that she was young, healthy, wanted to get pregnant, and shouldn't get the vaccination for medical purposes. But she was fired because you made it hard, just like you said in your statement, because you didn't want to make sure that the ideological bullshit got in the way of her working, of living her life, of making a medical decision with her healthcare professional. I think America should take great offense to this. That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights. Shame on you. Dr. Fauci, you've become Dr. Fear. Americans do not hate science. I don't hate science. The American people hate having their freedoms taken from them. You inspired and created fear through mask mandates, school closures, vaccine mandates that have destroyed the American people's trust in our public health institutions. This fear you created will continue to have ripple effects over generations to come. You have already seen its effects in education, in the economy, and everything else. Quite frankly, you said, if you disagree with me, you disagree with science. Dr. Fauci, I disagree with you because I disagree with fear. And with that, I yield.
Awesome. It's nice to see people that are trying to fight for us. There really are people in the government that actually think what happened was bullshit. Okay. And honestly, I do believe, this is my opinion, and I have the right to have one, that if Hillary Clinton had won, okay, and it wasn't Trump in record numbers that we did, we would have been forced. And people like me that said no, and I lost many jobs because I wouldn't do it, because I do promotional work, because I wouldn't get the jab, and I didn't have my little card to say that I had it. And even though I knew a lot of people that said, get a fake card. I know a doctor who will make a card out for you and not give you the jab. And I said, no, I'm doing this because I believe I have the right to say no. That's what Americans have the right to say, yes or no. And we should keep that right. And I didn't get a card because I said no. I wasn't going to get the card, and I wasn't going to lie about getting the card. And then you have people that get arrested, nurses, they got arrested because they refused to give the vaccine to people. Okay. Or they gave them saline solution or whatever. So it was ridiculous. But what I really do believe is that if Hillary Clinton had gotten in there, that people like me would have been put in a camp. Because I had people telling me that I was trying to kill them. And I'm like, you've been jabbed up. Why would I kill you? More than likely, you're going to shed on me and make me sick. So I tried to stay away from anyone I knew that had gotten a shot. And it's sad to say that. I was not trying to be mean to them, but I didn't want to put them in camps. And they wanted to put me in a camp. And a lot of people would bring me the box and say, here, you need to be tested. And I go, why? Well, to make sure you don't have COVID. And I go, I don't have a fever. I'm not sick, because I wash my hands 10 times a day or more, and I try to keep my hands on my face and things like that because of my allergies. And I've had them for a long time. So it's a habit. I just don't do those things. And it's just sad that we're in a position, but thank God, we had people that had this phone call, this audio of him saying that. Because hearing it in his voice, and look at him sitting there so smug, because he thinks it doesn't matter. I made $1 billion off of this. And whether I forced people against their will or not to get it, I didn't get it. I guarantee you, if we tested their blood, all these people that force this on people, I would love to have them tested, because I bet they didn't take it. Because guess what? The people that work for the post office were exempt. There was many people that were exempt from having to have the COVID vaccine, but they still had jobs. It's interesting. I can't wait to find out more as stuff comes out, because I have had many friends that lost their jobs or got sent somewhere else simply because they wouldn't get it. But guess what? I drove back and forth from New Orleans back to Arkansas because I have lots of relatives, sisters, and my parents lived here, and have relatives in Texas. Okay. But guess what? I drove, and I'd have to stop, to get gas and stuff along these rural roads. And guess what? Hardly ever saw masks. Hardly saw anybody freaking out when I got out of my vehicle and didn't have a mask on and gloves or whatever else to get gas and to go pay for it. Nobody threatened to kill me or put me in a camp. It's just funny. But as soon as I got to bigger cities, like Dallas, I hate to say that, but boy, Dallas is not as red as everybody wants to believe it is. And Texas isn't as red as it maybe have been 35 years ago. The papers, the newspapers and stuff are so liberal. Everything's so liberal. It's really scary. And if you guys don't start fighting for Texas, I don't know what you're going to do. Because we lose Texas, that's what, 48 electoral college votes down the tubes. And they've been leaving New York and California and Oregon and Washington State in droves and going to Texas and Florida. So those are the next two states that I'm going to start seeing. I'm sure I've already seen lots of changes in Texas. I mean, laws. Remember when the whole thing started coming out? There was a video and it was a person in drag and they were reading to little children, little preschoolers in drag, and they weren't wearing underwear. I remember that. That was one of the things that was grotesque about the whole thing, and people were in uproar over it. That was in Texas. That video I thought was from California, and then when I found out it was from Texas. So they had that going on in Texas, and all them cowboys with them pistols on their sides and wearing chaps and all that stuff. Boy, they didn't stop that stuff. They're not fighting hard enough because you know why? They're out there farming and raising cows and stuff like that. But the people in the cities, they're liberals and they're running everything. And it doesn't matter how many ranchers you have, because guess what? When there's enough liberals, they're going to take it from you. They're going to raise the taxes so high or make it so expensive that you can't afford it, or make you jab all your cows with this vaccine like I was showing earlier. What's going to happen then? See, if we don't start fighting now, it's over. I mean, I remember when they were saying stuff about you're going to have to get your chickens tested for all this stuff. Guess what? I live in a rural area. I don't know a single person that did that here, had their chickens tested. Almost everyone I know it has any land has chickens on it. And my chickens kept laying. I never had a time when my chickens stopped laying eggs. None of those things, none of those problems that seem to happen so much in so many other places. It's just interesting because my chickens just ate grass and leftovers and chicken scratch, that kind of stuff. And I didn't have any problems with them. The only problems I had was coyotes, a couple bear, bunches of snakes, a couple hawks, it's owls. That's the problems I have with my chickens. But yeah, it's always the cities, isn't it? Scary. Think about it. But yeah, they do. They're doing that. Kronos. I've shared that a few times about the beef industry being told they're going to be forced to vaccinate, and that the big beef companies, some of them are already doing it. And then you got what was his name? He was named in that one I had before. The Dutch gentleman was talking about Bill Gates. So, we'll see. But we got some. Was it Bill Gates? I think it was Bill Gates. I can't remember just a second now. I'm all messed up thinking about too many names. But the fake meat coming out, lab grown meat. Doesn't that sound delicious, everybody? No, I'd rather have rare, real beef. That's what I want to eat. So I don't know. I just think this is a really interesting video, and I'm going to share it real quick in the chat before I go to the next. I think I did. I don't remember if I shared it or not, but I'm going to share it again just to make sure, because I want you to share it with your friends so that they're informed and they have a chance to hear it, because that is Fauci. And this is on Capitol Hill. This is our government interviewing these people, trying to get to the bottom of what happened, what's going on. But if because Donald Trump got in there and he said it's their choice, you have the right to say no if you don't. And you did. You still did. But when you were going to lose your house and your car and all the things that you need to take care of your family, a lot of people had no choice, especially in the military. Let's say you're a young person, you have one child and a wife, and you're barely making ends meet, and they're going to take that from you and kick you out of the military. You got to go somewhere else and find a job. Well, right now you live on a base and you have some assistance with different bills, things like that, and that's it. So what do? You have no choice. At least that's how they felt. And that's what's sad, is that these people were basically forced against their will to do something that they didn't really want to do, but they didn't have any other option, or they felt they had no options. And that's a horrible thing. I can't believe that would happen in our country, but it did. But we still had people that said no, and they lost their jobs, and they had to, figure out what they were going to do and go a different direction. So we had that too. So we have good and bad things that happened. But that is definitely something I wanted to share with you. That was very, very important and, scary, but it's not shocking to me. None of this stuff is shocking to me because ever since the beginning, I just knew something was not right. That's one reason why I think they were so determined to get not Trump in office, because they knew we got a glitch in the matrix, and they didn't like it. So let me bring this one up now. Here we go. Okay, here's another post from X. I'm gonna pause this. But this was from Nick Sorter, and I follow him, and I like most of his stuff that he posts, and I try to read everything, but man, there's so much stuff. It's just hard to keep up with it. So what I do is I send it to the shit show chat, and I go through it when I have time. Go back and open it and try to read it and get caught up because it's just so much stuff. And I have other people send me things from other platforms. Like today, I streamed the Athena Strand murder trial, basically the man that murdered Athena Strand. And I was streaming that, and they're trying to choose whether he's going to get life in prison or the death penalty, which I hope is the death penalty, but I'm not on the jury. So, but I've been following that case, and it's heartbreaking, but I've been busy doing that too. And, I got a house to run and chickens to take care of and property to take care of. And I've got to go to the gym and, do all the other stuff too, and try to do this stuff. But this stuff's important to me. I think it's important that people are, able to hear things and find things that they normally wouldn't see on the regular news because the real news people don't want to share it. Well, that doesn't mean you don't need to know about it. And if somebody shares it with you and you read it and you're like, then okay, then it's fine. That's your decision. But if you're not ever able to see it, you can't make a choice about it. You can't make a decision for yourself. But this says former senior advisor to Anthony Fauci has been indicted for his role in the COVID-19 cover-up. This guy might throw away Anthony Fauci under the bus. So that's what he said. So I'm going to play this for you. It says that David Morans, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and his co-conspirators falsified records in an effort to suppress the lab leak theory, and used his personal Gmail account rather than his NIH email in order to avoid being, found out about. So here we go. Let's see. I'm going to share this, and this is on Fox too. So here we go.
Former top advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID. Rich Edson on this story. Intriguing, Rich. What you find out there in Washington?
Now, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morans, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morans, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morans used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morans wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that back coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay.
Bill?
All right. Thank you, Rich. More to come. Rich Edson on that story from Washington, D.C. Thank you. More top advice.
Well, there you go. See, little by little, the little spurt here and a little over there and up and down around. It makes it real hard for you to follow when you only get a tiny bit here and there. But see, it's pay for play. You know, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And then next time you can scratch your butt and I'll scratch your butt. You know, that kind of shit. It's disgusting. But it's coming out. But the thing is, it's coming out. But if you don't hear about it, then you don't even know. See, just like you said, these emails and stuff, this whole thing, this investigation started happening over 2 years ago. And do you have news people that are bothering to show you any of this stuff? I mean, heck, we had people just 2 days ago arguing on CNN that what Jimmy Kimmel said about Trump's wife being upset when he said, well, what's going to happen when he's dead, you know, and how she's going to react and all this kind of stuff, like it was a joke. And they were saying it was a joke. She's 56 and he's 80 years old or something like that. And it was horrible. It's horrible for them to say this kind of stuff. But if somebody on our side, which is me, I'm a conservative, had said something like that, I'd be tarred and feathered, set on fire, you know, because I'm a horrible Nazi. I hate blacks. I hate Indians. I hate everyone, which is bullshit because I'm not a racist. And I have a great grandmother that was raised on an Indian reservation. She's Chickasaw Nation. So, it's all this stuff is bullshit. Just because they point their finger at me and say I'm a Nazi, it doesn't make me a Nazi. I don't even think they even know what a Nazi is. But half the stuff they do is fascist. Okay. They call me a fascist, but yet they're the ones doing the fascist acts, you know. That kind of stuff is just bullshit. And I'm going to probably get, who knows, this video might not be here tomorrow. I might get turned off during this whole thing just because I'm bringing this stuff up. But this is stuff that's out there already. I'm not making stuff up. I'm sharing stuff that's out there already. Some of this stuff's been out for quite a while. A couple of times I've had my channel taken down for 2 weeks simply because I'm a cyber bully. Or I'm sharing medical misinformation because I played a video of Tucker interviewing the Surgeon General of Florida. That was medical misinformation. It was like, you got to be kidding. And it was still up the whole time, still up on Tucker's channel. The exact same tidbit I took. I didn't get a copyright strike. I got told I was spreading medical misinformation. That was what they told me. So either they don't know what they're doing or they just don't want me to say anything, even though I'm nobody. I'm just a teeny tiny speck blip on the radar, but yet, you know, I get targeted for some of the stuff that I share that's actually out on the news and stuff. So I don't know. I don't understand any of it. It sounds like nobody has common sense anymore. I feel like I have common sense. You know, if I stick my finger in that fire, guess what? I'm going to burn my finger. You know, I'm smart enough to understand that, but I don't know. I don't understand it. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I got a video that I'm going to play tomorrow night, and it's from the Johnny Carson show. Okay. And it was after an assassination attempt on, darn it, I went blank. I can't remember the president now, which president was. I think it was Gerald Ford. Somebody tried to assassinate him. And then they had the same dinner that Trump was at the other night, and they had Johnny Carson there. Okay. At that same type of dinner for the press or whatever. And Johnny Carson talked about it on his show. Okay. But he also was a speaker for the dinner there. And it's just like night and day about the way they talked about stuff like that compared to how they treated this whole thing with Trump. It's repulsive how far we've gone downhill when it comes to respect for other people. But they point their finger at you. Damn, you better respect me. And for whatever thing it is, because I don't believe that a man can have a baby. So because I'm a woman and I actually have ovaries and I have eggs and I have a uterus, that I'm wrong when I say a man with a penis and testicles and testosterone can't give birth to a baby. And because I say that, oh, I'm hateful. I deserve to be in a cage. I just think it's disgusting. It's terrible, but I can help it. I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm opinionated, but I'm trying to share truth. That's it. And this is our Capitol Hill that I just shared, them doing their job that we pay them for when we hire people to investigate this stuff. We hire them by clicking yes or no about whether or not we're going to vote for them on election day. And then we try to follow them to make sure they're doing what we put them in there to do, right? Okay. So I can't wait till tomorrow night when I play some of that stuff, because it's important to see the difference of how we used to be treated with respect when something like that horrible happens. And today it's like, nobody gives a crap. I mean, people get murdered every day, and all they do is make fun of them. Oh, well, the mother wasn't there. That's why their kid got taken from her yard. She was there. She was folding her clothes, but her kid should be able to stand out in the front yard. It's her yard. And a FedEx man pulls up and just takes the kid, and it's a mom's fault. Stuff like that is sickening to me. Blame it on the sick assholes that do that stuff. That's who should be punished, not the parents. It's sick. People are so sick. I'm sorry I went on a rant, but I couldn't help myself. It's my show. I can go on a rant once in a while. I don't think it's such a bad thing, but oh well. All right. I shared that. Let me get the next one. I think that was a pretty good one, but every one of these are pretty good. I think I got some pretty good stuff that people send me. So I'm pretty lucky. But here's another one that a lot of people probably never seen or even heard of. Senator Ron Johnson just revealed that Secretary Kennedy provided him with 11 million pages of HH documents on the COVID vaccine. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will share this with you. But I'm going to play this for you, because it always starts before I'm ready. I'll play this for you, and I will share the link so that you yourself can watch it anytime you want. Make sure it's turned up. Here we go.
Because of Secretary Kennedy's dedication to radical transparency, we got about 11 million pages of documents that we weren't getting from HHS under the Biden administration. And we have now uncovered the fact that FDA officials knew in March of 2021 that their analytical system for the VAERS system was completely inadequate, that it would mask significant safety signals. They had a different system that would, produce this information unmasked. They presented that to top FDA officials, and they covered it up. There were 49 cases of extreme masking, resulting in 25 safety signals, including sudden cardiac death, Bell's palsy, pulmonary infarction. I mean, very serious side effects. And again, I said I didn't need a sophisticated system. I saw deaths per year go from a couple hundred to over 20,000 the year the vaccine came out in 2021, and yet the FDA officials hid behind their analytics that they knew would hide these safety signals to continue to claim to this day, well, we didn't see any safety
Senator
signals
Johnson,
with the COVID injection.
It's funny how more and more of this comes out, but it's like a lot of us have been talking about this for a long time. A while back, I think it was, I don't know, it was like halfway through the whole, COVID stuff. And I saw 4 or 5 videos of beagles, and I don't know why they were beagles, but that's what they were using in the laboratories to do the testing on the before they could put the vaccine out, right? And all the beagles died in 3 different laboratories, and the different amounts in each one, but every one of them died that was injected with the COVID vaccine. But instead of them saying, well, we shouldn't do it on people because if it kills the animals, it's going to kill people. But guess what? They just pushed it under the rug and still did it. They just hid it. They hid the information. I'm sure that more of that is going to come out. But I watched a couple of the videos, and I don't like, to watch that kind of stuff. I don't like it for people or animals. But all you'd have to do is get on it somewhere and look. It's probably on Reddit or some of these other ones that I don't have Reddit, but other people have told me they've seen certain things on there. So, you know, there's tons of information coming out now. And just like what you just said right there about this COVID stuff, I'm just thankful that whoever was in there before weren't able to destroy all the evidence. You see what I mean? Like taking every document and burning them, just, you know, throwing them in an incinerator, every single thing of all these USAID stuff, all the COVID stuff, everything, trying to hide, you know, what they don't want anybody to see. And like I shared earlier, Kronos, I don't know if you saw it, but I shared a video earlier about vaccinating your pets with the same type of stuff that they had with the spike proteins in it for animals. And yeah, you should be careful and check what your animal is going to be vaccinated with. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. I'm going to share this again. It says self-amplifying mRNA for animals, and it's for the rabies vaccine. I'm going to paste it in here again, but the name it's called NOBIVAC NXT. So ask your vets when you take your cats or dogs to make sure that they're not getting vaccinated with that if you don't want to be shed on. Because I remember after the COVID vaccine came out, when I went to my allergy doctor, he said that he didn't recommend that I get the COVID vaccine. And I was like, why? And he said, well, because I don't know what's in it. He said, how can I inject it to my patients that are allergic to so many things? And if I don't know what's in it? And I go, how can you not know? You're a doctor. And he said, well, he showed me this empty page that came with the little vials. It had a couple of things at the top, but all the other stuff that you normally see on these things that they're supposed to put in there didn't have nothing in it. And he said, because if I give it to all my patients, I might not have any patients in a week. You know, he said, so I don't recommend you do it right now. And he said, talk to your physician, you know, your regular doctor. And I did, and they agreed with my allergy doctor to wait and find out what's going on. And I never did get it. But he also told me like 2 months after that I should be very careful about being around other people that are vaccinated because of the shedding, you know, that because of the chemical makeup of it, or it comes out of their pores and their skin and it gets on other people. So I did that. That's why I always was washing my hands, and I was just trying not to get around people, not because I was thinking that I was going to get COVID. It was more from the vaccine than anything else. So, and I never did get it. I never did get the shot. I never did get COVID. And I just washed my hands a lot. And, I tell people, if you want to wear a mask because you're coughing and you got, like when I'm sneezing and my eyes are watering and stuff, I don't go out in public, even though mine's just allergies. I just think it's embarrassing to go out to dinner and you're going, chew, sneezing all over people's food and stuff. I just think it's rude, and I'm not going to do that to people. And I hope that other people would do it to us, when they're sneezing and coughing, to not go out to eat dinner or go to the movie theater and stuff when you're doing that. Not that I'm worried that you're going to get sick, but just the thought of all that spray going around, floating around in the room that we're in. I mean, I just think it's rude. So I try never to go anywhere like that if I'm having a real bad, coughing or any of that stuff. And I wish more people would be more courteous to other people, but we have to share the world with everyone. We have to, if you don't like it, just go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just like I said, we have that right, thank goodness. So we can get in our car and leave and go someplace else. So, or get on the bus or whatever you have. But I shared that in the chat with everyone. So hopefully you'll watch it and share it with other people so that someone else might get the information that they're not getting. Now, I'm going to get away from the vaccination stuff now, because I want to share a couple other things that I think are really interesting. And this was interesting because this is an RN, and she was talking about one of her patients but she doesn't give the name of the patient or anything like that. She just talks about something weird that happened when she was at work, and she just wanted to share it. And I just thought it was interesting. So I want to share it with you guys, just simply because, it's interesting. But, and I would like to hear in the chat what you guys think it might be. A couple of my friends think the woman was possessed, that she was possessed by a demon or something like that. And a couple of other friends just said, no, she's just crazy. So I would like to hear what you guys say. I think I'm leaning more towards that she wasn't herself, that somebody was probably borrowing her for a little bit to play around and goof off, because I do believe that we're all open to that type of thing. So because I am a Christian, so I do believe in the devil. So there you go. But here we go. It's an ER nurse, and she wants to she's put this out because it really made her want to share it, because it was important to her to share. Here we go.
Okay, you all asked for it, so here we go. My name's Sydney. I worked as an ER nurse for about 10 years, and I have seen some crazy stuff, but this one in particular still keeps me up at night. Because I don't want to violate any HIPAA laws, I am not going to be naming any patients in this story, and I cannot give you the exact location, but I can tell you it happened in the Appalachian Mountains. So we got a call from EMS, and the original call was for an elderly lady with altered mental status. But then a call came in right after that, and it was for her son that had a severe arm injury. So that's a pretty normal call to get for like an older person not acting right. They can have UTIs, they could, sometimes dementia, things like that can make them act different. But the fact that she was coming in with her son and her son had a severe arm injury, we were all like, what's going on? So she came in first. They brought her in on the stretcher, and she was in handcuffs. This 80-something tiny little woman in handcuffs. So of course we were like, get her out of these handcuffs. Like, she's going to rip her skin. Like, what is going on? And baby, as soon as those handcuffs came off, I understood why they put them on her. This frail 80-year-old woman had the strength of like a grown 40-year-old man. It took multiple nurses, multiple security officers, and paramedics to just hold her down on the stretcher. She was also contorting her body in ways that I never thought possible. Just like her spine, like coming up off the stretcher, her legs up by her head. Like, it was weird. She was thrashing all over the bed, biting, spitting, kicking. The scariest part is her voice was not like a normal, 80-year-old woman voice. It was this deep, guttural, voice. At one point, she looks over at me and she goes, "Get this brute out of me." And as we're dealing with this, her son comes in behind her, and his arm has a massive chunk bitten out of it. And I'm not trying to get too gory on you guys, but I'm talking tendons, ligaments hanging out of his arm. So we got more information from the son, and he was like, yeah, that's my mom. She lives with me, but this is not my mom. She is normally a sweet little lady. And then she just came in my room in the middle of the night, bit down on my arm and ripped a huge chunk out of it and just continued to attack me. And he's like, I had no other option but to call the police. So we start doing all the things to get this lady to calm down so she wouldn't hurt us or hurt herself. I'm talking sedatives, IV injections, all the things. Nothing is touching her. We gave her enough medicine to put down like a horse, and nothing touched it. We also ran all the tests that would cause her to act this way. We did a urine screen. We did blood work, all the things. Everything came back completely normal. At one point, one of the nurses said, we need some holy water. As soon as holy water was mentioned, this lady, like I told you, she was thrashing all over the place, stopped thrashing and just looks up and goes, "Don't you dare." All of us nurses just kind of looked at each other like, well, that was weird. We ended up admitting her to a room upstairs. I obviously did not see this because I stayed down in the ER, but it was later told that nothing they did helped her. She just continued to act completely insane until the son was like, I want an exorcism done on her. They had to call in a priest to the hospital to do the exorcism, and shortly after that she went home. So Believe what you want, but the fact that this lady's tests results all came back clear and the only thing that ended up helping her was an exorcism. I mean, I know what I believe, and that's why I'm right with the Lord. But it's still just one of the wildest things that ever happened to me as a nurse. So now I'm interested, has anyone else ever had an encounter like this? If you have, leave it in the comments. And also, if you want more stories about some of the crazy things that I've seen as an ER nurse, I was also a psychiatric nurse for 3 years, then let me know.
I think she's, I don't think she is lying about it. I think she was actually trying to explain to us what she feels happened, you know, in front of her with her own eyes. And the fact that her son had a big bite taken out of his arm. I have seen some people, patients with dementia, you know, that would, you know, fight you off and stuff, but not with, you know, brute force. You know what I mean? They were still, you know, 80, 90 years old. They still were weaker, but they would try to scratch you and stuff like that. So I just thought it was very interesting. And I'm leaning towards, yeah, I do believe that she was possessed with a demon or whatever. And maybe the demon wanted to see a mother, you know, take out her kid or something like that. That to me makes sense, but I'm a Christian, so I do believe in that stuff. But that was really creepy, I thought. And it's not something I would play on the, you know, Friday Night Shit Show. You know what I mean? It's not really political or anything, but I thought it was very interesting. So I will share that in the chat for anyone who wants to share it with anyone, because it is creepy. Just like I said it was. It's very creepy. But I could never be a nurse. I mean, just the thought of dealing with people with mucousy and that kind of stuff, I just don't think I don't think I could do it. You know what I mean? I helped my dog when I was used to breed Shih Tzus, and I helped her have puppies and stuff. And that was hard, you know, especially when they lick the puppies and then they throw up later. That was really hard on me, that part, but not as hard as it was on her to have all those puppies. But, you know, you just don't know. I'm just saying, it just was very, very gruesome. But let me pull up the last thing that I have that I thought was really interesting. And I saved it for last. So here we go. Now this is something that's really happening. Okay, as of today, this is really happening. And I played a little bit of it a couple nights ago on, I think it was on Cosmic Chat. I think I played it on that because it has nothing to do with politics, you know, same thing. But it's a patent that I think Ford has put out of different things that they're going to do with, you know, because nowadays when you're driving and the car tells you keep your hands on the wheel, things like that, because it sees you take your hand off. Maybe you're fixing your hair, or you're taking a drink of your drink, and it thinks you took your hands off the steering wheel, right? So the cars are now seeing us and they're recording us, these newer vehicles. Well, I played something about how it is, they're going to start making it to where the car won't shift. You won't be able to put it in drive if the car senses that you are not fit to drive. You know, like you're too stressed out, you're too emotional, you're drunk, or you're drugged up. So you won't be able to drive your vehicle. Okay. So that's why I wanted to play this, because a lot of people think, oh, that's great. You won't have drunks on the road. You won't have this and that. But do you really want AI making that decision for you? I don't trust AI that well, because you got to remember, AI isn't as smart as people try to make it sound like it is. You can ask it to do certain things, and you have to ask it 10 times and it still can't do it right. Okay. It's only certain things that AI might be able to do well. I mean, I don't know. I just don't trust it enough. It's not a human being to make the decision. So it's just not real. You know, it's not real. But I'm going to play this video for you so you can hear what I'm talking about. It's not very long, but I'm going to share it because you should look into this. But here we go.
You got to understand the unintended consequences of this paragraph could be severe. It was sold to the public or to Congress as a drunk driver initiative. But look, what about a woman fleeing an attacker or stalker? Her pupils are going to be dilated. She's going to be breathing hard. She's going to be alert. What if it says, no, you're impaired. You can't drive your car to escape from an attacker? This could be unintended consequences that we do not want to have. You got to understand.
That is exactly true. Okay. Now think about it. Just think about it. Because what if, just like he says here, imagine a farmer injured on the job, his truck won't start because it thinks he's drunk, right? Or if a woman's fleeing an attacker, or if you got a phone call that your kid just got sent to the hospital from school, you know, things like that. How are you going to get there? You're going to have the police come and get you? Are you know, to me, it's ridiculous. If you buy a vehicle and now you can't drive it because the people who put the doodads on your vehicle think that, oh, well, we know better than you. Are you guys tired of that? It takes a village to raise a child. Remember, Hillary Clinton wrote that book. It doesn't. It takes parents. It takes two parents. It should have two parents, a mom and a dad, to raise your kids. Okay. And they're the ones that should make the decisions for your kids, not the government, not a company that's selling vehicles so that they can spy on you. You know, and you having to talk to your vehicle and say, I need to go to this because of this or whatever, and you won't start my vehicle. That's ridiculous, you know, scary. It's very scary. And I really hope that people think about that. Just look it up. It's, you know, and it's they're trying to do it, but I'm going to share that in the chat real quick so you can go back and check this out, because they are already doing it. There's I think it was Ford has already applied a patent for that to be in their vehicles. I think in like within a year or two for sure. But I mean, I bought a truck because it's supposed to help you stay within the lines. Like if you start to go to the left or the right, your steering wheel, if you go too far, it will move. It move for you, not, you know, or so you know that it's doing something. Or let's say you're going over the line, your steering wheel will vibrate a little bit, even though you're not going over, you know, the lines in the road, you know, that are cut out and make it, you know, bumpy. It's nothing like that. It just lets you know that you're going over, or to go beep, 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 because you're getting too close, or a car's coming up on your left and you got your blinker on. See, it's telling you. So the smart cars, I'm not talking about that. That right there is far enough to let us know that, to alert the driver, because the driver is still in control of the vehicle. It's when they won't let the driver, the person sitting in the seat, have control. I mean, I can see it when they put that, whatever that thing is, where they put it on your car and you have to blow in it, you know, to prove that you're not drunk to start your vehicle. I think, you know, if they have to do that, I can understand why they would do that. But to make it to where you're you have to rely on AI that's looking at you from your steering wheel, basically, of your car, you know, of that your you know, your dash, and tell whether or not that you're fit to drive. I mean, I go to the gym, and when I come out, I'm worn out, man. I'm sweaty and I'm panting because I'm out of breath or whatever. And now it's going to say, sorry, you can't drive because you're impaired. You know, it's going to be terrible. I'll have to sit there for an hour or go take a shower at the gym, and then it'll think I'm fit enough to drive. I mean, I just hope that doesn't come. It doesn't come to that, because people should have the option to not drive it. And then you got all these people say, well, I won't buy those vehicles. Well, if that's all there is, what are you going to buy? If you have an old truck from 1950s that is a classic, they probably won't even let you drive that anymore. They'll say they won't give you a license, so you'll be driving it illegally. You know, so that's how they force you into it. Just like what we saw earlier with Fauci saying that, well, let's make it so hard for them to get around it, they'll have to get the jab. You see what I mean? And that's what they'll do. They'll force you into compliance. And as long as people can do it, they win. And that's a fact. That's the truth. Just like the masks and everything else is, as long as you comply, that means you've You gave up. You put the handcuffs on. They're going to just drag you around. That's what you did. You know, that's what you do as people, as a community when we stop doing it. But we can win. And I still believe that. Look what happened with Bud Light. So all of you remember that? They tried to get a man dressed as a woman, you know, and then they're trying to sell bras to women with a man wearing a bra that's supposed to help me. And I have real boobs, you know, boobs that I was born with that grew on me that didn't get put on, you know, through a doctor. And he's going to tell me what bra is best for me to wear. I think it's disgusting. You know, it'd be like me putting on a cup, you know, a man's cup, walking around telling him, well, this is the one you should be wearing. You know, I'm a woman. I know better than your man. So here's the cup. Wear this cup for protection. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard of. It's ridiculous. But it's not any, I mean, really, if you think about it, you got a government that puts tampons in the boys' bathroom because a boy can be a girl and have menstruation. And that's the government doing it. Okay, so we're supposed to trust those people. See, that's what's hard. We have to, us, the people, the ones who work hard to pay taxes, are the ones that have to speak up and not put up with this shit. Because look what happened with the Bud Light. Okay, we said, hell no, we're not going to do that shit. So we didn't buy the product. And guess what? Bud Light changed their tune because they lost their shorts. So we can win. We just have to stick together and do it. That's how we win. And hopefully, you know, people will still keep fighting and not give up, because once we give up, they win. It's that simple. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with me tonight. And I hope I brought you some things you didn't know about yet. And don't forget, if you don't remember one of the things, you know, because I did share them in the chat, and I set it to where you should have the chat when you watch it, when it's not live. So I hope you guys had a good time, and maybe come see me tomorrow night when I do the Friday Night Shit Show, starting at 9:15 Central Time. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Boys and girls all over the world are being abused and tortured.
The worst moments of these children's lives, they're being videotaped and they're being shared with other offenders all over the world.
Many people would refer to this as CSAM, child sexual abuse material.
They are suffering and they don't think that anyone is coming to help them. But we can. We can build that army and we can go get them.
Come be a part of this team that is trying to push back this evil.